Hello everyone, this is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms, Farmstead Life with Fireside Tales. And guess what? We're on Creepy Mountain today. Got Rebecca as the camera woman. Got sister with us. And we're going over here to a spot that the T-Rex roar come from. And I'm going to show you what we used that night to get that T-Rex roar to happen. You've heard me talking about the beaver pond. It's coming up. You can tell the rains have been really rough up here on the club. We're fixing to come to what we call the old beaver pond. This is a place that had a lot of stuff going on too. So later on we will be talking about this area. Some of you that's been up here before are familiar with this area. Yeah, we got a big tree has fell here. So that'll be a job we'll have to do here pretty soon. It goes out to one of the green fields. Rebecca's showing you this over here is the area that me and Keith was using for baiting. On back that way a little piece. Back then, that was a cut over straight ahead and a cut over behind us. They left the hardwoods on this branch here. We were doing our baiting right up there. That's where the knuckle print and the four-toed footprint come from, was right up there down that creek there, a little piece. Yes, I know this doesn't look like a beaver pond, but it used to. Beavers used to keep all this in here backed up. This of course looks 10 times different than it does years ago. This is also where Marcia had her sighting. So when I get her and Keith to come up with us, this will be the area we'll sit and talk about. And plus, when we do talk about the baiting, we'll probably go down in there. You can tell here this is planted pines now. This used to be a cutover when we were doing the baiting. It was about 3-4 foot tall at the time. So we're going to head up here to what we call the four-way, and we'll talk about that when we get up there. And then I'm going to show you what we used that day or that night that we got that roar back at us. And I'm gonna actually have brought two of them with me, and we're gonna see if we get a response. So when I get ready to pull the apparatus, me and her will get quiet and we'll see what happens for a few minutes. Never know. Never know. Stay close around where I'm at. You hear me? We'll be going wandering off. I've been going up that road a bunch. All right.
Opening the door handle on your truck from the inside, hard. With the broke wrist.
Keep an eye on her too. There's a lot of cows. Like we was talking about a while ago, we're up here at the four-way of the club. One road goes east, one road goes west. We just came up the south road. This road just goes out to some green fields, some big ones. Our lake, I've been telling everybody about, is about 1.5 miles through the woods. That'll be in another video. We'll do that later. This spot here, you can't tell by looking, but it's a high spot on the club. Of course, the trees have grown a lot now. So back then, this was all cut over. You could see for miles different directions. Now, of course, the biggest ridges of the club are still on the east side of the club. So later on, we'll be over on some of that. But the night of the T-Rex, we had been coon hunting about a half a mile that way off another road, and our dogs would not hunt right that night. But what we had with us was the crazy owl sounds. It was not an owl. You could tell they wasn't owls because one of them got to coughing one time. We knew that it was a bunch of boogers. It was me, Keith, and Larry. Of course, our dogs was acting funny. They came back, loaded up in the truck, got ready to go. We decided it was getting pretty late at night, about 11 o'clock. So we decided we'd just call it a night. So we come out, and the road we was on is a bottom road over here over this hill. So we came back out, came into this road over here, the road that goes to the east, and we run into another hunting club member. Him and his brother out just riding. Of course, they'd been drinking a little bit. These are not public roads. As long as they're not hunting, we don't usually get upset about somebody drinking a beer. As long as they're not hunting or doing anything with firearms or anything. Number two, his property borders the club, and he has a road that comes into the club from his property, so he never got on a paved road to come up here. We were sitting here talking with him, and told him about it, and he has experienced the Bigfoot boogers before too, so he asked, was we hunting or was we hunting for the Bigfoot? Well, we told him, we were actually coon hunting and had all the crazy owl sounds going, and was telling him about that. Well, Keith had brought one of these with him that night, and these are called drum bulls. It's a coffee can with a string. You can tie it with a nail inside, and basically this thing will make a god-awful racket. This is made out of plastic, so I brought both of them. But what we're going to do here in just a minute, I'm going to pull this thing. You got to wet the string. Most time kerosene does better, but I'm going to do it with water because I don't want kerosene all over my hands tonight. And I know a lot of other people who typically don't carry kerosene around with you. They call it a drum bull. I don't really know what its use is. To be honest with you, I want to say some old timers maybe used to make them. I need to really find out about that. I'd ask Keith about that and see where he come up with this idea. But what Keith done, he wetted the string and he pulled this thing. And Keith's pretty good with it. He got it right off bat the first time. I mean, it makes just a god-awful racket. It makes a roar sound. I mean, if you hear it, in a little distance from it, you'll think, Lord, there's a lion up here or something. Well, as soon as Keith pulled that string, I mean, this hadn't even quit. This was still making a sound. We had what we call the T-Rex roar. It's just a whoa, but just amplified, I don't know how many times. And you could feel it hit you in the chest standing here. Well, the guy, him and his brother was sitting over there about half asleep in the Jeep while we were talking. And when Keith done that, he come up wide awake going, what in the world is that? Of course, we all were like, man. I mean, it just floored us all. Keith, he was sitting there, I was big-eyed. I mean, we didn't know to get in the trucks and leave. We didn't know what to do. First time we had really experienced that. And this was up in the winter of 2007, 2008. So Keith pulls it again. Of course, we don't get no response then. But over multiple times, we have used this. And it sometimes we'll get one answer. Never have got the T-Rex again with it, but we have got other different things. Other thing I want to bring up, we are on, like I said, we are on Creepy Mountain. So this is one of their areas right here we're in right now. This is from about a mile back over this way to the lake, about a mile that way, and right up here back toward the clubhouse is the place they love to roam. Now there's some other stuff happening on other parts of the club, but they love this area. Also, this was the area I told you about where me and Keith had the hunter ears and his sounding dish he had bought, and that one came from this direction. He walked up through that cutover, and these trees at the time, some of them were still here. They didn't cut all that, so that's the direction that booger came to us that night. But I'm going to go ahead and do this, and what I'm going to do is when I pull it, I'm going to get quiet for a few minutes, and we're going to see if anything happens. May get lucky, may not. We're getting close to dark. We're probably about 30 minutes from dark. They're already probably moving this time of day, especially here in the summertime, because there's not many people here on the hunting club. In fact, we're the only ones here today. May get one to answer, but I'm going to pull it. We'll stay quiet for a few minutes. May pull it the second time, and we'll see what happens. So I just wet it with some regular water. And y'all forgive me because I ain't done this thing in a while, so we'll see what happens. Keith says the metal can does better. I have to agree with him. Alright, we're going to try it again. I'm going to wet it again because it's best to wet it every time. That way you get that. And I didn't do it as good as Keith. I can go ahead and tell you that now. That night he got it perfect, and you couldn't ask for a better night. So we're going to try it again. Of course, we got a horsefly buzzing us. All right, I'm going to put the metal one up, and I'm going to pull the plastic one. That way you can tell the difference in it. That one or this one?
That one.
The big one? All right, I'll hurry up. I thought they had a full charge a while ago.
It always starts out full.
Alright, so we're going to try the plastic one. Now, the good thing about this one, it's got handles for me. So here we go again. Alright, one more time. Like I said, this don't work every time. Sometimes me and Keith would do this 7, 8 different times. Then sometimes you get lucky and there it is. It usually happens so fast you don't know what's going on.
That was a good one.
Do you hear a stomp? Back that way.
I can't hear, remember?
Like I said, these are easy to make. Metal coffee cans a little better. If you don't have that, get you a plastic. Just knock you a hole in it. Get you a nylon string about this long. 3 or 4 foot long. Tie you a nail or stick. I got a stick on this one. Just pull it, completely wet it with water, and pull it. Ain't no guarantee it's gonna work every time, but it's worked with us 3 or 4 times here, I know. We also used it in Coosa County and it worked. Well, I mean, we didn't get the T-Rex, but we got one that let out a little scream back at us. So, but I wanted to show y'all this. This is something cheap and easy to make. That might make one answer you, especially if you're in a new area, or you know, wanting to try a new area. I know I was talking about the elk call. I'm gonna find out more about that if I can. I know elk calls are very expensive. But this is one of the spots a lot of stuff happened from. Of course, as we get on into it, we'll be coming up here more videoing. So I hope everyone's enjoyed it today, what I've done. Hope you got to see some of the club. Of course, as winter gets here, you'll be able to see it better because it'll open up in places. And I'll get up on some of them big ridges where you can see how big the place really is. But I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope y'all have a good weekend. And me and Rebecca are going to put this stuff up and start easing on back toward the house.
Get us some dinner.
Get us some lunch, or supper, excuse me. So you give us a like, a subscribe, share, comment. Tell me what you think about them drum bulls. Let me know if you've already know about them or seen them before. You may know what they're for. Like I said, I need to ask Keith. Well, I hope y'all have a good night, and we'll check y'all next time. This is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms Fireside Tales. Y'all have a good night. Bye-bye. Let me do that again.
Mm-hmm.
Let me know when you're ready.
I am.
Of course, the truck has to go down the highway at the same time. If something answered back, way back in yonder.
I thought I heard that.
I don't know how far back. It may have been past the lake. Of course, somebody had to go. Loud truck over yonder on the highway. That's another thing I need to explain to people that.
You're still recording.
Oh, well, I can explain it now. One thing there is where I used to live is not far from here, and we're on that side of the mountain. So anybody with a loud vehicle or any of that, sometimes you can hear that. I've even been able in the winter time to hear kids down there in that where I used to live playing. That sound would echo up here very good. So sometimes that would confuse us. But we knowing at 2 o'clock in the morning when we was up here at 12, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the sounds were coming from in here, we knew what we was dealing with. There was something a few minutes ago made a racket back in there. Of course, that truck at the same time was going down the highway with loud set of mufflers. So. Wait a minute, there it was again. I hope here in the future to get up here one night and maybe video a little while. We'll probably go over to the lake. One thing, if we can deal with the bullfrogs and everything else over there. That's one thing we learned. We had to kind of stay away from the lake in the summer because it just gets so loud over at night.